you ready to go to Universal Church? I need Orlando to hear you. Are you ready for Universal?
Two of the most famous haunt events in the world take place on opposite sides of the U.S., but are bound by 3 letters. H-H-N. While both events share multiple IPs from year to year, they are both unique in their own right, earning them undying coast-to-coast love and admiration from their fans. And just as unique as each event is, so are the visionary creatives behind their production. One of them has come from the heart of Central Florida, and the other has crossed the ocean from his home in Ireland to be with you here this afternoon. Please, welcome to the stage, Universal's own Titans of Terror, creative director and executive producer of Halloween Horror Nights Hollywood, John Murdy, and Senior Director of Entertainment and Creative Development at Universal Orlando Resort, Michael Aiello. Midsummer Scream, welcome John Murdy and Michael Aiello.
That's his name. What's your name? How you guys doing? Let's get this thing going. Halloween Horror Nights 2025. Let's hear ya! West Coast and East Coast. How many of you guys, show of hands, how many of you guys are gonna make the trip to both coasts this year? Right on. All right. I'm John Murdy. I'm creative director, executive producer of Halloween Horror Nights at Universal Studios Hollywood.
I am Mike Aiello, senior director of creative development for Universal Orlando Resort.
Oh, you know what? Before we do anything, just go with me. Okay?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
We love our jobs. Thank you.
No, seriously, I started doing this as a 10-year-old kid in my parents' garage, and to get to do this for all of you guys every year for the last 20 years, that's just something I couldn't have imagined when I was a kid. So thank you so much for all your support over the years, supporting Horror Nights on both coasts.
100%. And thank you. I'm so excited to be here on the West Coast with you all. I loved walking the floor, seeing all the sights here. This is an amazing convention. Absolutely amazing. I think last time I was here was 2019?
Yeah, it's been a few.
Yeah. So I am thrilled to be with you all today, and thank you for welcoming me.
Okay.
What's this mean? What is this?
Oh, this is how this goes. Yeah. You know how this goes, right? By the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Damn. You got anything?
Nope.
Or have we? Hold that thought. Okay? We'll get to that. Earlier, we solicited questions on X for our fans to ask Mike and I. But, before we get to that, we're going to answer a lot of your questions today. We got some surprises in store for you. But we thought it might be cool to let you guys be the first people to see the HHN 2025 commercial spot. Would you guys like to check that out? Okay, let me see if I can do this correctly.
Awesome. Yeah, that's great. It's going well.
You guys doing anything?
Halloween Horror Nights.
You guys liking the lineup for 2025? I think this is our best lineup since 2016, honestly. And we can't wait for you guys to experience it in for you, sooner, right?
Very soon, very soon.
What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be
This is all wrong. I
working?
shouldn't be here at all.
When do you guys open? Seriously, Mike.
The 29th is officially the opening night in Orlando.
And September 4th for us. So, we're going to start this off. We wanted to answer some of the fans' questions that they put on X. So it's Q&A time. Let's start. Oh wait, this appears to be an Orlando person, Mike. So I'm going to have you read this one.
Yes. Okay. How long is your process for selecting which IP franchises your collective teams choose for the event? What goes into the process? Well, it's how much time do we have? Honestly, like the IP franchise process isn't just John and I. It is a massive team of people. We work with not only our insights team to kind of study what people are enjoying out there in horror pop culture. We look to our marketing teams to help inform us of what's out there and available. We have an amazing team that, along with John and I, approaching certain studios and individuals to seek out if they're interested in working with us. We also have IPs that come to us.
Yeah, all the time. So we actually start that process in March. So March of this year, Mike and I and a bunch of us would sit down in a room and start thinking about, okay, what do we want to do for HHN 2026? And we'll be doing a whole lot of that this week.
That's also why I'm here.
Don't follow us. All right, next question. How much do fans have impact on making creative choices for Halloween Horror Nights every year, like acquiring specific IPs for the year? This is from SoCal Tall Guy.
I didn't shout out the last one.
You guys know SoCal Tall Boy? All right. And I would answer that question with Exhibit A. Seriously, ever since the first Terrifier film came out, we've been keeping an eye on this franchise. And I don't know for you, Mike, but for me, I judge it by the t-shirts that people wear to events like Midsummer Scream, but also, of course, Halloween Horror Nights. And I noticed after the first Terrifier came out, I was like, oh, cool, what's that? I was checking out people wearing Art the Clown t-shirts. And then when the second movie came out, there's a lot more of you. And then last Halloween, I was like, oh yeah, this is the time. And the same thing's true of Five Nights at Freddy's. For years, our fans have been asking for this franchise. So honestly, this is for you guys. I mean, we sat down this year and we went, number one, Terrifier, check. Let's go talk to Damien Leone and Phil Falcone. Number two, Five Nights at Freddy, check. We really curated the slate with our fans top of mind, no question.
Yeah, and an IP like Five Nights, we knew if we were going to say yes to this, we had to do it right. If you're going to see those characters, they have to look identical to how you see them in the film and in the franchise. So the only group we could have worked with was the Jim Henson Creature Shop. They created everything.
Yeah, you know, do you guys remember a couple of years ago we did Blumhouse Behind the Screams, and we did that prop display? That was the moment that, for me, was the light bulb moment, was walking in there when we had those creatures on display and going, first of all going, damn, that's like 8 foot tall. And then going, oh, if we ever do this, we got to have Jim Henson's Creature Shop do it. So we've been working with them for like over a year, right, Mike? We've been on this for a long time. And last week in Hollywood, they started loading in, coming into the house. So we can't wait for you guys to check out Five Nights at Freddy's. All right, you want to take this one?
Yeah, sure. Do you struggle to bridge the gap between pleasing old school classical horror fans and younger game-friendly fans when choosing this year's HHN houses? And that's from Bluefire Dr. 44.
I just have one question at this juncture. Was Bluefire Dr. 43 taken?
Are they here? We'll never know.
Okay. Exhibit B. Yeah, that's something we intentionally, when we're building the slate, we're looking at that specific thing. We always want to have properties that appeal to the hardcore horror fan that loves slasher movies. That's why Jason Universe is a perfect fit for us. But we've started getting into video games. Way back in the day, Silent Hill in Hollywood. You guys did Resident Evil, right?
We've done Resident Evil, yes.
And then a couple years ago, we joined forces on The Last of Us.
Sure did.
And so this year, we wanted to bring Fallout to life. Are you guys excited about that? I was just in there last week with the creators of the show. And it's still, like, we're just getting into props and dressing. That's going to start rolling through this week. But just to step into the vault, Are you guys excited to step into the vault? It's amazing. Scenically, it's some of the craziest stuff we've ever had to do. But it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, well, and it checks all the boxes that we need for what we feel will be a great haunted house. It has diversity environments. You've got the fallout shelters. You've got the wasteland. Diversity in characters. We just installed the T60s into the house just this week. And I said T60s.
Ours are in the mail. Ours are coming.
We're waiting. But again, it checks all of those boxes. And honestly, like being able to work with Amazon for the first time, we've never really partnered with them before. So we've got a new company that we can collaborate with, which is really exciting.
Has any of Universal Orlando's Halloween Horror Nights icons ever been to Universal Studio Hollywood's Halloween Horror Nights? And this is from Sergio Torres, AR7. Time for a short history lesson.
Take out your notepads, everyone. Here we go.
It's a tradition. We might as well get into this. Yeah, the answer is yes. Way back, the first year I did Horror Nights in Hollywood, 2006, we featured the director. Anybody here that saw that event in 2006? Oh wow! Okay, I'll tell you a quick little funny story. So we wanted to film some stuff with the director, kind of like viral, it was before viral videos really in 2006. We wanted to shoot something from the tram POV, so I put a camera crew on the tram, and I got a good friend of mine who was the lead singer in a band at the time called the Graveyard Farmers, and I said, hey, just over by kind of like the Bates Motel, this kind of wilderness area in the back lot. I'm like, hey, just when the tram goes by, just come walking out of the woods, dragging a body. But I didn't tell anyone I was doing it. Don't recommend that. And we also featured Jack the Clown. He was the icon in 2007.
Bit of trivia, by the way, on the director. His name changed when he came to Hollywood.
It did.
It did. He was Paulo in Orlando, and he was Pavel in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And then he was Billy in Singapore, I think.
Yeah.
So he's apparently an anonymous individual who just goes around the world changing his names. He's got.
Well, if you did what he did, you have to change your name.
Good point.
You wouldn't want the authorities after you.
Right.
Oh, Okay. Will Hollywood Harry get more lore and one day meet Orlando's icon, Jack the Clown? And this is from Egyptian Horror 9.
And no one heard that. He said, bring chance.
Now, it's time for a slightly longer history lesson. More lore. How much lore do you want? Okay, well, let's really quickly go through the lore for Hollywood Harry, okay?
I'm interested.
Okay, well, this is how he came to be. He started at Universal hosting a kids' TV show called Koodle's Carnival. His real name is Harold Kapowitz, and that was in 1958. As, this is the proof right here. And then in 1964, he got asked, that was the year we started the studio tour, and that was kind of the beginning of Universal Studios Hollywood as a theme park, and he became the mascot for the Universal City Studios tour. And there you can see him out there on Lancashire in front of the Universal sign, and there he is on the tram. And then in 1973, the studio canceled his television show.
I love that they actually got a photo of him reacting to that.
Yeah. And they replaced him with two different icons. They replaced him with Frankenstein Jr. in 1973 and a gorilla holding a camera.
Fair trade.
I didn't make this up. This is real. This is really I was a little kid. I first came to Universal in 1972 with my family, and Frankenstein Jr. was the icon of Universal Studios Hollywood and a gorilla holding a camera.
I see new icon.
Think of the possibilities. And so he just kind of hung around the front main gate of the park, kind of like those people that hang out in front of Grauman's Chinese Theater, trying to charge people for autographs. Yeah. And this went on through the 70s and into the early 90s. But then he started getting all sketchy. And eventually security asked him to leave the property in 1993. But he didn't leave. He just went up into the hills that surround the Universal backlot, and he's been living there ever since. In 1998, people started noticing him on the studio tour and started taking pictures of him just wandering around the backlot next to the Psycho House. And, at that time, the internet started coming alive, and they started filming all these videos of Harry sightings, and they gave him this name. They gave him the name Hollywood Harry, and he was born in 2016. He hasn't been back for a while. Should he come back? Yeah. Should Jack the Clown come back? Yeah! File that away. All right, Mike, you take this question.
All right, how did you and me format the storyline for the Wyatt Six Haunted House attractions to both Orlando and Hollywood to be all in Bray Wyatt's mind in terms of his personality disorder and characters of the Fiend? And was there any creative input from the, in real life, Wyatt Six faction? From @Skywalker Brian? Yes. So I am so excited that we're doing this year. And I know when it was first released, there was a division. It was like, huh? What was that?
She wants me to body slam you.
Oh! You're ruining the end of the panel. He's gonna throw me through 6 tables. This relationship really started, I actually knew Bray Wyndham. We exchanged messages. He went to Horror Nights in Orlando all the time. And we exchanged a lot of messages, talked a couple times, and we talked about the possibility of something like this someday. And he had portrayed all these amazing characters. And horror and WWE have been part of their makeup for decades. In fact, Horror Nights in Hollywood.
Yeah, before my time, we featured The Undertaker in a haunted house.
So we had talked about this, and then unfortunately for those that are aware, Wyndham, he passed away. And it never, obviously didn't happen. And then about a year ago, June, his brother, Taylor, Bo Dallas, also Uncle Howdy, debuted a brand new faction that was inspired by Bray's characters and his storylines. And they kind of rejuvenated the Wyatt name. in WWE programming, and they're a horror faction. They're every bit the kind of Rob Zombie textures that you would find in any horror film.
And if I remember correctly, after that debut, you sent me an email.
Yes.
And you're like, check this out.
Yes, yeah, because that night, one of my good friends, Marty Miller, he's the vice president of live TV for WWE, I literally called him after they made their debut, and they did this amazing single camera push into where the wrestlers come out on TV, and they had basically done this massacre backstage, and it looked like one of our haunted houses. And I called literally that night and said, we need to talk, and we got the ball rolling, and that's when I emailed you.
Yeah. And then Mike brought it to the table. It's kind of the way we work together. Like, sometimes I'll have a hookup or a connection with a filmmaker, and I'll go, hey, what do you think of this? And in this case, Mike was super connected to WWE, so he brought it to us. And for me, I as a kid in the early 1970s, my dad used to take me to the Olympic Auditorium in downtown LA. You know what I'm talking about? I think it's a church now.
Yeah.
But that's where wrestling was held. And this was back in the days when, it wasn't what it is today. It was like Freddie Blassie, John Tolis, Man Mountain Mike, Mil Mascaras, Haystack Calhoun. It was that era of wrestling. And my dad would, I think this is right next to Skid Row, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I don't know why my father took us there, but that was my earliest exposure to wrestling. But I needed to learn a lot. So I literally watched YouTube videos, which I often do, pretty much the entire history of Bray Wyatt's arc in WWE from the Wyatt family all the way through, and then with the Wyatt Six, like watched every single wrestling match, every single promo. And by the time I was done, I had such an appreciation for the genius of Bray Wyatt. And it just felt like this is something we need to do. This guy was so talented. I think if Bray was still with us today, I think he would have ended up making movies, honestly.
100%.
I think that's where he would have taken it. But what he created is so layered, and the story, it goes to so many levels deep. Even when you get into the costumes, which we obviously have gotten into in great detail, every stitch means something. It's incredible, the universe that he, spawned and what his brother's carrying on today. So we're incredibly honored to be doing this. And I always like to think of when we're, building a slate for Horror Nights, there's the things that are kind of obvious, that are kind of what I would call the meat and potatoes of horror. But then there's these other things, I call them brand expanders. And you've seen us take these chances over the years where we go, okay, let's take this and bring it into the world of Halloween Horror Nights and turn it into a live experience for you. Are you guys psyched to see this? So, and I think we always try to align on kind of like the main beats, what the story is we're trying to tell. But we sometimes have different scenes and different approaches into our houses. Honestly, I think that's super cool. I've always thought that's cool. I love that people can go to Orlando and see one house and then come to Hollywood and maybe see something slightly different. I think it's cool to have those differences park to park. So for Hollywood, for me, this is the facade, by the way. All you people who've been trying to film this, it's not easy. I feel for you. I do. You guys are riding the studio tour and you're trying to get that picture, and all you could see was the roof, and people were like, it's Creature of the Black Lagoon. It's and I'm like tweeting him back, no, it's Gilligan's Island. But for me, I wanted to think about it like, if I was going to make a horror movie out of the Wyatt Six, how would I go about that? And I thought about the Wyatt compound, which was featured kind of more prominently in the Wyatt family days. And I thought, I want that to be the entrance into our experience. And in a lot of ways, this is like an original haunted house. And it was so cool when we met with Rob Fee from WWE, when you and I and our team, we did this big brainstorming session with him. What I loved that Rob kept saying is you guys are the experts. You guys are the experts. He really welcomed our own creativity into the process. So we tried to approach it as if we were making a horror movie out of the Wyatt Six characters. The beginning is going to be the Wyatt compound. It's kind of the bookends of our experience, but I'll point out just two things. You see that side profile shot elevation? You see the rocking chair. Yeah. And you see the lantern. And of course, that's Bray. That's Bray's iconic elements. The lantern is a through line through the whole house. You're going to be kind of following the light of the lantern as you go from scene to scene to scene. So I'm giving you this warning now, right? So you're ready for it. Because it's not always in the same place. But try to find the lantern in every scene you go in, because pretty much almost every scene, the lantern shows up. And the other thing is the rocking chair. When you come out, it's going to be rocking by itself with the lantern on it. The fireflies, we're going to do all that special effects lighting, so the fireflies are dancing around. And as you go through, you're going to keep encountering that rocking chair. And I don't want to say too much about this one, honestly, because I like the fact that I think it's going to be a big surprise for all of you, okay? And then I'm going to let Mike talk about his.
I'll be brief. We're recreating the Wyatt Six debut in Orlando. That is our opening. You're going to be the camera, and you're going to walk that space. You're going to see the massacre at Gorilla Station, and then we're taking you through. Ramon Peredoa, also a massive WWE fan, who's our show director for this experience. We've created what we're calling Production Central corridor, where you're going to be surrounded with WWE imagery all around you, media. And then the Wyatts take that over, almost like if it's a vortex leading you into the minds of the Wyatt Six. And then from there, I'll stop, because I want you all to experience it.
Yeah, I do. I know a lot of times as fans, you guys are like, you need to know everything, and I always think about, like, were you the kids at Christmas that just, like, found where your parents hid all the presents, and you opened them all up, saw what you're going to get, and then wrapped them back up again? I did that one Christmas. I found my parents where they hid the presents, and I was so bummed that Christmas when it came to Christmas morning. So I think something should be a surprise, so you'll be surprised.
Yeah, but that is an interior shot of the house. That is not WWE, that's us.
It looks cool.
Oh, yeah,
there's this too.
And again, Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy, Taylor, he has been so gracious with us and so supportive. He actually, we wrote and created brand new content for the house. And Uncle Howdy has new content specifically for this experience that we shot.
Yeah, and we're going to feature that in the queue line when you're waiting in the queue line for us as well. All right. Cute. This is from our original house. This is from Monstros 3. I always try to explain it to you guys. I'm just going to throw up 2 pages just to give you an idea. Part of it is a technical breakdown, scene by scene. So on the one side you see talent, hand props, scenic, graphics, props and decor, static figures, audio, video, lighting, special effects, etc. And what I'm trying to capture is every single element that is needed to go into this particular scene, and this is the facade for Monstros Tres. And on the other side, it's a narrative. It's written from the guest POV, as if I was you walking into the house. It's everything I see, I hear, etc. So it's really a combination of those two things. My treatments tend to average about 100 pages per house. So, like, by the time we're done with Horror Nights, I will have written the equivalent of War and Peace every year.
And for Orlando, the content's the same. Sorry, I redacted a ton of stuff on this page. Sorry.
Oh, I had a joke, but I can't say. Go ahead.
This is actually for the foyer of our El Artista Spanish haunting house, and it gave away a lot of stuff, so I didn't want to give it away. But the format's there. We break down every single discipline so that when everybody's seeing these treatments, they can understand exactly what's going on in that space. And then over there on the other side, that is also what we include in our treatments, which is a model of every single room where we can place all the performers, we can identify where effects are. So again, anyone that's reading that treatment, whether they went through the meeting where we took everyone through it, or if they're just handed that treatment and they did not get the support of the meeting, they can read that and understand every single inch of the space that we're designing.
With the increased collaboration, has having your teams work closely together changed any part of how y'all approach house scare zone treatment? And this is from Hogsmeade.
The y'all probably is from the East Coast, I bet. This is probably an East Coast.
I have a slight suspicion of that. Yeah, we've always worked together. Whenever we share an IP, we work very closely together. We're in meetings every Monday, without fail. We're East Coast, West Coast meetings. But this year, I think we took that collaboration to a new level, and that's particular to Five Nights at Freddy's. Sometimes we have houses where it's a little different, East Coast to West Coast. This house is pretty darn close to the same experience coast to coast.
About 99.9%.
Yeah, and it's really just the physical spaces that make it different. But we kind of divided and conquered on this house. We would literally divvy up the various disciplines, whether it was design, scenic, audio, video, etc. And we said, okay, you guys got this, we got that. And it's the first time we've ever done this, but we really collaborated in a much more intense way across the board in that particular house.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think we learned a lot about each other's process, even more than we had just kind of working in meetings together. Our teams were working closely on design, which really hadn't happened before. Yeah. And it was an awesome process. We learned so much about each other's teams, and I think it really brought everybody really close together too.
Yeah, it's we can't wait for you guys to see this house. This is something that we've, I honestly, like 5 years ago, if you would have said the same thing, hey, why don't you have done Five Nights at Freddy's before? I probably would have said it's impossible. But it was really that moment of being in the lobby when we did Blumhouse Behind the Screams and going, of course, Henson, that's how we have to do it. That made this possible. All right. Can you share a moment that you had with the fans where you both knew you had created something special through your work on Halloween Horror Nights from Movie Howler?
Honestly, this may be cliche, but it's every year. I mean, here's the reality. John and I are up here talking to you all, but we represent a massive team of people that are working together to bring this thing to life every year and to make it different every single year in as many ways as possible. The moments that we've had with fans is really the thank yous to the team. Again, we're walking the event. Sometimes we'll walk in the event after it opens, and we'll be together. We'll be a group of our team, kind of assessing the event, and people just coming up to us and saying thanks. We realize how much this event means to you, because it means just as much to us. Because that's the other reality is, like, I was this character. Most of our team grew up in the event, and we're now helping to create the event, and that means so much to us. To be able to do that, to bring you something that you can escape to every single year. Because I think that's really what this event is about, is we all want to escape to some place that is that warm blanket. And for many of us, all of us in this room at this convention, horror is that warm blanket.
Yeah, I think this is the thing that constantly amazes us, is that, the horror community, I think it's the coolest fan community there is, And it's not just like that it's cool, but it's the most supportive, it's the most inclusive, it's just like all of us collectively, we found our place, And so when we think of our event as creating that place for you guys, that once a year you get this time of year where you get to be with all your friends and all the people, that you love in this community and get to experience it together. Just one thing I'll say about this particular question, like over 10 years ago, and this happens to me all the time, I had like a dad walk up to me and he's like, hey, my son's really into like your event, he's kind of obsessed with it. And I thought it was like a fad and it would pass, but he wants to do this when he grows up. I don't know what to tell him. Can you give him some advice? And I did, and I've stayed in touch with that family all these years. And this year, that same kid, who was a little kid who came to Horror Nights, just finished his first internship for us, working on Horror Nights. So it's kind of amazing to see all of that come full circle. So, and there's so many stories like that. All right. For both of you, your time at Horror Nights has given you a front row view to the crazy growth and popularity of Halloween and horror-focused events. Creatively, where do you see the industry and Horror Nights specifically going in the future? From a lonely Omen. Space. No?
Sure, why not?
Space station is just sitting there. I mean, it should have a haunt on it, don't you think? I don't know, where do you see this going? In the
I
future?
think it's actually happening already. I mean, we just soft opened Horror Unleashed in Vegas. If you just asked any one of us 10 years ago if there would be a 365 home for horror with Universal's name on it, I would have said no way. And there it is in Vegas. And that's really cool. That's really cool. And it's a whole different experience. It's a whole different thing than what Horror Nights is. And that was important about that Vegas experience. Is it gives you a taste, it gives you a flavor, but we also want it to be unique, just like we want our Horror Nights events to be unique. That's very important for that application.
And, you know, on the East Coast, Epic, you know, now has an entire Universal Monsters Land. I don't know. I think that Horror Nights had something to do with that. I really do.
I would think so.
You know, I think that what we've collectively, all our teams on both coasts created, you're starting to see it now come to life outside the event. And I think that's amazing and really, really cool. All right. Who is your favorite cryptid? Megatron G13. Time for a short natural science lesson. A cryptid is an animal such as a Sasquatch or a Loch Ness monster that has been claimed to exist but never proven to exist, and that's from Webster's Dictionary. You know, I grew up in the 70s, so mine is, you know, Sasquatch because of the $6 Million Man. And, you know, we tore down the ice tunnel years ago to build the Fast and the Furious attraction, but he's still out there.
And ours are Yetis. We love Yetis in Orlando. We love them. We've done 2 haunted houses based on Yetis. We love them. I've never been scared more in my life than in our Yeti houses because they're crazy. Those characters are nuts in there. I love them.
All right, a perfect candidate for this year's Horror Nights at Horror Nights and Horror Nights Orlando from Just Warren 26608. You know, we could answer that question for you. Or we could ask the guys who made the movies. All right, let's bring to the stage Damien Leone, the writer, director, producer of Terrifier, and the producer Phil Falcone.
What's up, everybody? Love you back. Wow. So what was that? What makes Terrifier a good candidate for HHN?
Yes. Why do you think Terrifier is a good candidate for HHN?
Art the Clown. He's a fun, sick, sadistic, twisted son of a bitch. I think it's, even for me, I mean, this is sort of the first time I'm like in your shoes and I get to go in this house and be chased and taunted by my own character, you know? Like, that's really exciting, actually, because on set, we don't have that relationship.
It's a different fear.
You know, it'd be funny if we gave them real weapons for when you come through.
What better way to go out, right?
How about you, Phil? Why do you think Terrifier belongs at Horror Nights?
I don't know, I've never been to Halloween Horror Nights, but I'm excited to be at both of them. I'm going to be in California and in Orlando, check them both out. As Damien has mentioned, we are on the other side of the camera, so we don't get to see it this time. We're going to live it, and I already told them I want to experience it, and I've never done a horror house.
He said, no.
Oh boy.
He said, I hope I don't shit my pants in there.
We'll hook you up, Phil. All right, well, what we're going to do now, since we have the guys who made the Terrifier movies, is we're going to do a little bit of a deep dive into Terrifier. Is that all right with you guys? Wait a minute, hold on. All right, do we have Terrifier fans in the audience? That's what makes Terrifier a great franchise for Halloween Horror Nights. All right, let's start with the concept. You know, the first thing we did is we all kind of got together and we talked. And, you know, Mike and I, we both gravitated towards this, which is the Funhouse from Terrifier 2. And I just learned this not that long ago, but would you explain this, guys?
Yeah, it doesn't exist. Yeah, so in Terrifier 2 you see this, and we did not have the money to build an actual scale facade. So I'm a fan of like really old school techniques that they don't really use anymore, so I wanted to use sort of a miniature forced perspective approach to doing this. So we really just built like a 3x2 foot facade, and then we used some digital effects to map it into, you know, like with a background plate. And it worked pretty cool. And I wish I could really get my hands on the actual facade now that they built. This is the first time I'm ever seeing one in reality, which is so friggin' cool. Very surreal.
It would be funny if we did that. You could be like Spinal Tap with Stonehenge, you know, you guys show up and you're like, what? Oh, really? So, here's the facade, by the way. For all of you, and I know you've seen this because you've retweeted it, but like, people ride the studio tour at our park all the time just so they can try to get a picture of this facade. Yeah. So, you know, when we were talking, Mike and I, we really gravitated towards, let's have the Funhouse be not only the facade for the experience, but let's try to like take all of the great kills from the franchise and bring them to the Funhouse, even if it didn't take place in the movie that way. And that was kind of like I think, Mike, is it fair to say that was like our first big idea for how we were going to attack this?
Absolutely. It was really, could we place the guests in an environment completely of art's creation, and then house those kills within it? And what would that be like? That was the mission.
It was kind of like Art was showing off his works of, pun intended, art, for the guests, is kind of another way to look at it. So, when you're waiting out front, it's going to be the Terrifier theme music, and then you're going to hear like a radio, and I'm talking about Hollywood, you're going to hear the radio station kind of changing channels, static, hear a little blip of, you know, the Clown Cafe theme song, and then it's going to land on a news report, and it's going to say, police are on the lookout for a tall, thin man wearing a black and white clown costume and carrying a large garbage bag. And while this news report is going on, there's two doors. The clown head door is the door you're going to be going through. But Art is going to appear standing behind that door, and then he's going to open the gate. And then he's going to come out. And I gave him another gate in the fence so he can get real up close and personal with all of you. And Mike?
Ditto. No, here's a scenic elevation of the facade in Orlando. We made one minor alteration to really sell that Art has taken it over. We painted over the clown that looks a lot like Jack the Clown and made it Art instead. So you can really, when you go into the house, you really get a sense that this is Art's world. He's now taken this funhouse completely over. And then I think the next slide is the facade. There it is. That's it. One cool additive in the doorway that you're not going through, there on the right-hand side, that's a media wall that's going to give you a glimpse of several of the Terrifier characters. You're going to see Vicky, you're going to see little pale girl in there. So, yeah, you're going to see all those characters kind of waiting for you on the inside.
Did you guys ever go through, like, Carney fun houses when you were kids? Like, growing up?
Yeah, absolutely.
Did they freak you out?
Not too bad. I kind of like that stuff. I gravitated toward creepy shit.
I grew up in Coney Island, and
Did you really?
Yeah,
I love Coney Island.
And they had the freak show in there.
Oh yeah.
You know, that's when that was a popular thing, and we used to see it. You know, you'd be walking down the street, and you'd see the people with the, you know, the weird looks on them. You had some crazy shit going on in my
Did you ever work there for a summer when you?
I never worked there. A lot of my friends did. That's how we actually got the carnival for Terrifier 2. Funny story, the guy who owns Adventureland, it used to be Nellie Bly, he used to handle the ponies. For 15 cents, you'd ride a pony in Coney Island.
Yeah.
And he owns the park today. And he let us well, he rented it to us, but rented it to us at a very nice price. So, and I had called up a friend of mine, Joe Pagano, who I hadn't seen in like 40 years. I said, anybody still work? Anybody still have connections there? He said, yeah, we got him. And that's how we got it.
Well, that's cool. So you actually filmed the interiors in an old...
Not the interiors. We shot the exterior carnivals in Nellie Bly, and then we shot the interiors in Fright Factory.
It's a haunted house.
Oh yeah, totally. I'm sure, Damien, you've probably told this story a million times, but if you wouldn't mind, like, what was the inspiration for Art the Clown initially when you first came up with him?
Yeah, just making a short film, and I wanted to put a bunch of horror, sort of, classic cliche characters in this short film that I could use as a calling card, and I wanted to see if I could do anything interesting with them and put my own spin, and I wanted to try and do something different with a killer clown. And when I was designing him, I said, he can't be anything like Tim Curry's Pennywise. So I didn't want him to be colorful, I didn't want him to speak, I wanted him to have weapons instead, and I sort of wanted to turn him into a slasher. And it was really just based around this one scene, which is the scene in the short film The Night Circle, which was then put into All Hallows Eve, just with Art terrorizing this woman in a train station. It was supposed to be a bus, and that's actually why that scene exists at the end of Terrifier 3. And then...
It's a fabulous scene, I might add.
Did you have something to do with that scene?
I might have had a little bit.
Tom the bus driver, ladies and gentlemen. Terrifier.
And you like the old horror movies.
I like
Yeah.
horror movies, and I do like rom-coms.
Yeah. But yeah, so it was a little scene in this short film, and then it gets, there's creatures and demons after that, and Art's only in the first 4 minutes, but everybody who saw it back then said, what is going on with that clown? Like, he's too cool, he looks so creepy, you're gonna make more stuff with him, right? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna make plenty of things, sure. And I was like, I better write something else for this character. So then I made another short film called Terrifier, which is also in All Hallows Eve. And that's when I said, all right, I'm gonna turn him into a slasher now and see, what this guy's really about. And then that's when I sort of realized that there was something special. I didn't imagine it would turn into this, but I said, this character has something, there's a charisma there's something special, and I need to keep going, I need to get this character into a feature somehow. So that 20-minute short film, Terrifier, was sort of the proof of concept, a calling card. And it took years to try and convince somebody to give me money to turn that into Terrifier the feature, until I met this guy right here, the only person who believed in me to give me the money to do it.
Give it up for Phil. Producers need love,
But you both have done something that many have tried over the last few decades that have not been able to do, which is create the next generation of slasher icons. And Art is a slasher icon now. That's fantastic.
Totally.
You gotta give it up for this man. I mean, that's a creation, and like I said many times, even though he hates to hear it, I'm not from the horror world. But when I saw this clown, I was like, first of all, when he first mentioned the clown, I don't do clown movies. I ain't gonna do that shit. When you see it, I was like, wow, this is pretty fucking wild. And when we were done shooting Terrifier 1, I was impressed. I gotta be honest, I was impressed because I had just done a movie and it cost me a couple $100,000, and we did this one for $40,000, and there's so much more shit in there, and I'm like, holy crap. I said, I pissed away a lot of money on my film.
Well, truthfully, I mean, if
The house was more expensive, just so you know.
I mean, if this works, the truth is it's because it's all coming from a very genuine, organic place, from a diehard horror fan, and I've been one since I'm literally 3 years old. I've been watching these movies and idolizing characters like Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, literally since I'm 3. So hopefully there's just something instinctual after I'm consumed so much of that, I mean, this is really what I birthed out. I mean, so that's a big part of it. And then obviously David, who brings such an incredible performance to it.
I have a question for the producer. How did you guys find David? Was it did he just come to an audition, or was it?
Well, we were looking for a new Art. Now we're looking for a new Dave. No. we were looking for a new art, and the person we had that we did the teaser with, he couldn't deal with the lenses.
Yeah, most people don't know that. Before we hired Dave, we had another actor. We shot a teaser for it, and this was after Mike Gianelli, because Mike Gianelli was the original Art the Clown in the short films and All Hallows Eve, but then he just didn't want to act anymore, so I had to replace him. And there was someone else that I'd been working with, and I was like, I think this guy could do a good job playing Art. And we filmed this teaser, but he has these like really bright, striking blue eyes, and I said, that doesn't work with this character. You need to wear these black lenses, and we put the lenses in for the teaser, but they irritated his eyes so much, and he was like, I don't really want to keep go on playing this character wearing these lenses. I was like, okay, so we got to start again. And I said, let's hold an audition. We put it online, and then we rented an office in Manhattan, and we had people come in. And David, I've said this many times, David was like the sixth person to come into the room, and as soon as I saw him physically, I was like, this is the guy. I'm like, please let this guy not just, be a raving lunatic or something. I'm like, yeah, I'll take, he doesn't have to do anything. He just looks so perfect, and especially I was looking for somebody thinner now, because the way I sculpted Art's face, he's sculpted to look kind of like a zombie. So I was like, he's gonna be great. And then Dave didn't have any size or anything. He just knew he was coming in for a killer clown role. And he said, well, what do I do? And I said, I don't have any lines. I said, no lines. I said, I just need to see you decapitate somebody, and you're having a very fun time doing it. You do it very gleefully. And then you can see his audition online. He's like, okay. And then he just flips the switch, and he goes into almost like what you see as Art the Clown right now. It's almost identical. Yeah, and fantastic. I knew right then that it was gonna surpass like what I was even looking for. And it was just Phil and I in the room, and then he left, and I turned to Phil and I said, are we really looking for anything else? I was like, that's the guy. So let's bring him back, put the makeup on him, and have him do this all over again. We basically shut down the audition right there, and that was it, yeah.
Wow. So let's talk about Art. So we always do character illustrations. They're done by our in-house artist, Lucas Colshaw. He's been doing these illustrations for years. You guys know his work. He's been doing it for years and years and years. These are just some of the iterations of Art the Clown you're going to experience in the house in Hollywood. We have our classic bloody Art. We have Art after he's scalped the woman and is wearing the hair. We have poopy Art. And of course, Santa Art. And then this is kind of a combination of Orlando and Hollywood. But Mike, did you have anything on that?
No, I was just going to say, it really is about the multiple ways we need to bring this character to life for a house that has to run, the number of nights it has to run.
Yeah.
You've got prosthetic versions, you've got mask versions. You're seeing two on the sides there, two new iterations of the character that our team's created with Damien's guidance.
Yep. Damien, can you explain like the character of Vicky, like where that came from? She's evolved.
She has evolved, yes. It was, again, taking traditional tropes and then seeing if I can do something interesting or spin it in a new direction. And I don't think I'd ever really seen a final girl go through this transition where she's the supposed final girl in the original, but then she turns into a victim, and then she turns into a villain. So it's been one of the most fun arcs through the entire franchise, and especially to just watch Samantha find this character and become more and more evil and sadistic as this goes, and see how much she enjoys that element. And this was like a really challenging makeup that also evolved through the course of the movies. It was very crude originally. It was totally different materials. And then by the time we got to Terrifier 2, I resculpted everything, made new teeth. And this is very, very difficult makeup for her to wear because she's virtually blind. So obviously one eye's completely covered. The other eye has an acrylic eye that plugs into the prosthetic and has a tiny pinhole for her to see through. And then the dentures, they clip into her teeth, but they have these gums that push her real gums as far up as possible, that twists her mouth out of shape, and then we basically glue the prosthetic into that, so she's stuck looking like that, and blind for 10 hours or so. So it's not easy. Yeah.
And Samantha's one of the most amazing people you'll ever meet. Solid through and through. She bitched a little, but solid. She drove me crazy.
Can you blame her?
Yeah, I can. She drove me crazy on 3, but well worth it.
And what you're seeing on screen right now, the character design, but also like the mask as it was evolving. Yeah, we haven't figured out the vision thing yet. We're gonna have to figure that out. I'm looking at it going, okay, where is she looking through? Vision isn't important.
Just feel around.
And then there's the little pale girl. How did this character come to be in the second movie?
I wanted a character to embody the evil that resurrects the boogeyman, which is something you don't typically see in these movies, right? It's just the boogeyman trope. They come back from the dead, and you don't really know why, but what's bringing them back? What force or what? So I thought this would be the reason why it's this little creepy girl is actually based on this old short Fellini film from an Edgar Allan Poe anthology movie called Spirits of the Dead. And there's this little devil pale girl like in it, I started seeing all girls starting to dress up as art and do their variation. I was like, I have to quickly do my own version of this before it's like out of my hands. It was like the first Halloween where people started dressing up, and I started seeing that, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna make my own little version. Because the original pale girl was supposed to look like her, obviously, but not be dressed as Art the Clown. She was going to be in this sort of like sundress and have like a flower in her hair, and then I quickly was like, no, it's going to be a female little Art the Clown. And you will find out a lot more about this character in the next one. Yeah.
So for us in Hollywood, Little Pale Girl is a special effect. We have a scene called Dolly Molly, and when you come in, it's the sequence in the film where I think they're dental tools that are like sitting on and she's just ripped all the flesh off her face. And as you come into the scene, it's an animated effect where there's a little sensor you're going to trip, and then she does a 180. Her head turns 180 to look at you.
In Orlando, we've got live performers that are going to play Little Pale Girl, in both versions, both iterations, in her most ghostly sense and then her most mauled sense. We have team members right now who are just so excited about playing this character. They absolutely are loving it.
Wait, can I just say, everything you're saying, like, this is all them. This is what they presented to me for this house.
Yeah.
And I'm just, and I was just blown away. I mean, this is everything that you could possibly want and more put into this. If you love this franchise, you are going to absolutely be blown away by what they have in this experience. Really.
And speaking of final girls, Sienna Shaw, and she's such a badass. We had to find a place for her to be in the house as well. And again, I'm just going to show you, this is where we start. This is the character design. We're going to have her show up in the full, cosplay outfit from the second movie.
And then this is our in-house costuming team in Orlando adapted this look, and here it is. You're going to see her in the flesh in the house, Sienna Shaw, and it is just an awesome costume. They did such an amazing job replicating it.
I already feel bad for this performer backstage because, sorry, it's a visual. They're going to be like, excuse me. But you have to have the wings.
I hope you have a lot of duct tape handy.
Let's talk about what makes Terrifier, the kills. And I was really interested, like, when we first announced this, I was getting all these questions like, you guys aren't gonna go. Oh yeah, we are. We're gonna go there, all right. So it was literally a Tuesday night, and I went to, on the website of my local cinema, and, it was like, I don't know, like a 9 o'clock show or something, and I looked at it and I'm like, there's one seat left on a Tuesday night in, the northwest, corner of Ireland. I'm like, really? And so I bought that ticket. Only 2 people walked out, and everybody else hung for the whole thing. But when I watched Terrifier 3, the mall Santa scene, I knew we had to do something with that. So again, inspiration for that. Did you always want to blow up Santa, or?
No, it's just how do you kill as many kids at one time as possible?
We've gone to a dark place.
I I'd like to point out that Phil and Damien do not work for Universal Destinations and Experiences. Thank you.
Well, it's been a good 20 years of Horror Nights, but I think I'm going to be hanging it up after this. Chris Williams is my art director, production designer. Chris has been doing Horror Nights with me for 20 years. So this is him and his team, his art department. They've created that entire, Santa set. You're gonna go into Christmas, except all of the elves are, beheaded and disemboweled, and their intestines are stringing the Christmas trees, and their heads are the tree toppers. And then after you go through this, we're gonna take you through this like hedge maze of Christmas, and it's all the Terrifier, it's a Terrifier Christmas, all of that is playing. And it's just gonna rain blood, So literally, we're just not giving you a choice, Dry path, wet, no, just all of you go in the same place. And of course, Santa Art will be attacking you with his chainsaw the whole time.
Yeah, ditto. I mean, we're doing exactly what John just described. Here's some scenic elevations done by our amazing team back in Orlando. Manuel Cordero is one of our designers working on this house. A light maze there. You can see some of the bodies that are strung up. I will say, and this is a record, this house has the most bodies ever in a haunted house in the history of Horror Nights in Orlando. That is a fact. That is a fact.
Yeah, there's a lot of dead elves. Well, in some ways, it's kind of like our revenge against Christmas. Because I don't know about you, Mike, but when I come out to LA every year, and you go to Home Depot and you're like, look at all this Halloween stuff. Last year, I was trying to find a costume for my kids because they came out for Halloween, and I went to Target or something, and it was already Christmas, and it was not even Halloween yet. And I thought at that moment, if I could get my revenge against Christmas, I'm gonna do it. And luckily your film, when I saw Terrifier 3, I was like, oh, perfect. Oh God. If you thought Texas Chainsaw Massacre smelled bad, if you thought The Exorcist Believer smelled bad, if you thought the bathroom scene in Insidious with the kid puking smelled bad, these guys, they did the work for us. They're in the first Terrifier movie, there's that scene in the pizza parlor. I don't know if you would care to explain to our audience the inspiration.
Explain yourself.
Yes, explain what Art did in the bathroom.
I never saw a slasher take a shit before, so I was like, how do I make my guy different? And it just became a running theme, though, through the motif, so to speak, through the movies.
I do have a very specific question, because I've been trying to figure this out ever since I watched the movie and went through it. What the hell is that in the sink? It's got teeth, it's got eyes, it looks like poop.
It is, it's a poop monster.
I can't wait to show you tomorrow. I'm going to take him, we're going to walk through the house tomorrow, and my props team built that poop monster. And it's awesome. That's cool. It's so cute. I could market this. It's like a bath toy or something. I don't know. How was that filming that scene? Was it awful?
In the Fry Factory, it was awful because it was fucking cold.
It was
It
cold.
was cold, and blood and cold doesn't go well.
And Hershey's.
How about poop and cold? How does poop do in the cold?
It's chocolate, so it's okay. I'll tell you what grossed me out was when we shot the pizzeria scene with the shit, because that was a real active pizzeria. Matter of fact, I was making pizzas in the front while they were shooting the scene.
They didn't even close for you?
They closed for us, yeah.
Needless to say, they're not operational anymore.
The health board would have something to say about
We
that.
shot that in an active pizzeria, and we didn't hold back.
Did they give you pizza at least?
I made the pizza.
Oh, you made the pizza.
We were still cleaning up when they opened the next day, and people started coming in to eat. Yeah, crazy. And so much blood got into the dough mixer, and no joke, it was crazy.
It was brutal. I felt terrible because I always say, however we go into a
Yeah,
place,
you gotta leave it the way.
No, gotta leave it better.
Oh,
You gotta leave it better than when you go in. We failed miserably on that one.
bathroom scene. For us, the way we kind of have it laid out is you're in the funhouse. You're going through the funhouse scene. We thought, well, funhouse, should have a food place, and then there's always a place you can grab a bite, and then there's got to be a bathroom. So it was kind of a natural flow for us to go to the bathroom. So while you're in the bathroom, we thought it would be fun to have like little Easter eggs in the stalls. So there's kills inspired by Terrifier 1, 2, and 3 as you're going in. So we got the dude from the pizza parlor who gets his head turned into a human jack-o'-lantern in stall number 1. We got the mashed potato kill from Terrifier 2 in stall number 2. And we have that unfortunate construction worker that Art rips all the flesh off his face in stall number 3. But then batting cleanup is Art. And as you're coming in, he's writing his name on the wall in poop. And if you look at that character design, his little, clown gloves are just caked in it. So, and the smell will be pumped in as well.
We're just replicating what we saw.
And Mike, that's a picture of yours.
And here's the interior of the house in Orlando. There is the poop monster, as I think it's called now. And yes, we're doing the same thing. We're replicating all the kills. We are doing mashed potato kill, but we've replaced the potatoes with something else.
Does it have the same consistency as potatoes?
It might.
One request, any chance we could turn the smell of poop into chocolate? Without the smell.
Not a chance, Phil.
Ah, shit.
Phil, I gotta tell you, we've only really done a poop scene once. So we did it the first year, 2006. We had a house called Asylum, and it was an original house, and we had a scene like that. And I would come home from work at night, and my wife would go, "Why do you smell like poop?" And I was like, "Oh my God, I had to throw the jacket away because it was bad." And there's also, I should mention, getting in and out of the bathroom are underwear hanging in your path with, it's been a little accident. So I'm sorry.
What I think we're trying to say is this is the most highbrow Horror Nights has ever been.
Yeah.
Well, I only hope that my family does not see this tape until after they go through this, because there's going to be not only poop, there's going to be throw up, because they are not holding that in.
I can hook you up on that too. Well, let's go from poop segue.
John, what are you doing here?
I'm trying to increase the sales for their vendors out in the lobby.
The food should have been first, and then the bathroom.
Well, right? So all of these, if you go to these carnivals, that set up, there's always food. So we thought, of course, the food should be the Clown Cafe. So these are just scenic elevations of some of the elements you're going to see in the Clown Cafe. We built Art's food trailer. We built the whole thing. We built that playground set with all the dead kitties. We did that lovely United Colors of Bennington mural, whatever that is. And the Clown Cafe host there's an Easter egg. You'll see her slumped in the corner. This is post-Art blasting her with the blowtorch. So she's, burnt to a crisp. The music will be playing. The kid with the Art Krispies cereal, that's going to be in there. And then there's that weird, I don't know if it's a hat box or what the hell that is, with the heart in it and all of the maggots and stuff. And we
yeah, that's right. That's exactly what it is.
Is it? Right on.
For lack of what we don't know.
So that's in there too, but that's a little, people like to touch stuff in Horror Nights. Don't try to touch the heart, because you'll get a surprise if you do. Okay? That's all I'm going to say. 10,000 volt. No, just kidding. 10,000 volts will go. No. But it's a little interactive surprise for you in there.
Photos of the Orlando house. There's the mural from Clown Cafe. There's not the final version, but that's what the house lights on. There's our Art Crispy's kid there in a swing set, and then also in Orlando, and I think maybe Hollywood as well. There's the Clown Cafe. RF&B actually created Clown Cafe, and you can actually go there during the event and have Terrifier themed food from the Clown Cafe.
That's in Orlando.
In Orlando, Clown Cafe. I hope you enjoy it.
We're just serving a cereal bowl full of razor blades, broken glass, and mealworms. Really? Okay. All right. Now we do feel like we should warn you of a couple of things. Okay. I'm gonna do my warning for Hollywood, and Mike's gonna do his warning for Orlando. Don't go out the chicken exit, okay? You might encounter a chicken exit in the house. It'll look just like that. Look for that chicken, or actually, I think that's a rooster. It's a rooster chicken exit. You might end up backstage if you go out the chicken exit. And you might encounter some things you're not supposed to encounter. So if you see the chicken exit, at your own risk, okay? And it's a little surprise for you guys, okay? So I'm just gonna leave it at that.
In Orlando, I think we've gone on record saying this is going to be the wettest house we've ever produced in the history of the event, and we're not lying. We're giving you two paths in Orlando. You can make a choice. You can go to the left-hand side, which is our dry path, if you choose. I agree. Boo to that. See, why would you want to have less of an experience? Or you can go right, and you're going to go into what we're calling our Symphony of Blood. In this picture you're seeing, this is our finale. What you're not seeing is art on a second level. Underneath them is a blood waterfall. If you move to the right-hand side, you'll be entering into our Symphony of Blood. And I'm not kidding, you are going to get drenched. I'm talking front row Jurassic Park. But you have a choice. You have a choice. The direction to the team when we first started the creative was, can we create a finale that feels like a car wash of blood? And that is what this is.
I'm not giving you a choice, I'm sorry. But wait! There's more. I'm hearkening back to the beginning of this panel when we said, by the pricking of my thumb, something wicked this way comes. Do you want some? You've been through all the announcements at this point. There surely couldn't be anything else we could possibly announce. With this slate, it's so stacked. What else could we possibly do for you people? Well, okay, I'm gonna stand up for this. So, you know Where's Waldo, right? I always thought it would be fun to do Where's Waldo like in a theme park. Except instead of Waldo, it's Art the Clown. So as you're traversing, if I may use that word.
You just did.
I did. As you're traversing the theme park, Art the Clown is out there, okay? I'm not gonna tell you where he is. You might be in a store. Yeah, you might be in a store, and you might turn around and he might be right behind you. You could go down, to the Universal Plaza and plop down and go, hey, it's time for a drink or it's time for some food. And look across from you and there's somebody just mad dogging you. Right? You could go down the Starway down to the lower lot of the park. He might be down there too. He could be anywhere. So what we're doing, and we're doing this on both coasts, is we were like, it's awesome to have a Terrifier haunted house, but we weren't satisfied with that. We were like, Art's such an awesome character. And we really truly believe this, guys, Damien and Phil. we grew up, Mike and I grew up on Freddy, Jason, Leatherface, Michael Myers. We were like smack dab in the middle of the slashers. And there really hasn't been a worthy slasher icon until art came around in a long, long time. These pictures up here, they're kind of suggestive of what you might see in the park. I don't know, Mike, if you want to add something else to
No,
this.
I mean, it is exactly what you said. We want Art to be everywhere we can possibly put him, and also never tell you when that's going to happen. You will encounter him when you least expect it. And that's the really fun thing, and that is the character. He's the
Predictable.
Yes. So we're proud that you all let us do this as well. And everything we're talking about here, Art in the Park, the house, is our loving tribute to the work that the two of you and your teams did to create this amazing franchise.
Yeah, give it up for him.
Listen, I mean, this obviously is one of the greatest honors for us ever. It's still surreal. We don't believe, I can't wait to see this. I can't believe this is actually happening. But on top of that,
He might be in your car. He might follow you home.
I'm used to it.
Might be at your hotel right now.
Surrounded by this guy. But seriously, just for embracing exactly what this franchise is and what you guys love about it and what it's known for, it was the coolest thing, because there's a lot of times we're presented with opportunities, but then people are like, but you can't do this, you gotta stay away from that, we don't like this, and it's like, well, then it's not really Terrifier anymore, So they embraced everything, and what you just saw is virtually what they presented to us at the very beginning, and I was like, guys, just go for it. This is too good to be true, honestly. So thank you, it really is the greatest honor, and thank all you guys for your amazing support. It means the world, honestly.
I'd like to add to that just a little bit. Again, if it wasn't for the fans, we're not here. If it wasn't for you guys, we're not getting to see this work of art. And I gotta say, out of all the people we worked with, I've never seen Damien so on board with what they came up with. Usually it's like, my motto is close is good, Damien's is like bullshit. And I've never seen him agree so many times, so fast, like, yeah, that's cool, yeah, that's cool, yeah, that's cool. So they were doing the right thing here.
Hey, one other thing about the in-park art, the clowns. Anybody have tickets for RIP? All right. Well, even the RIP lounge is not safe. I'm just telling you. Like, you're gonna go in there and get your lovely buffet dinner, and yeah, that's not safe either. Just so you know. Being with us today, we greatly appreciate it.
We will release the hounds. Enjoy the rest of your experience at Midsummer Scream.
You all have been absolutely awesome. This has been so much fun today.
And so I texted the girl who was helping me. I said, how's it going there?
Really cool. I like this shirt. And my favorite, the bride. Sure. Yeah.